What's up, guys? My name is Jerry, and today we're going to be talking about why drafting Paolo Banchero was a home run for the Orlando Magic, and we're going to jump right into the video. Now, Paolo Banchero continues to prove why he was the number one pick in this year's NBA draft, and he also continues to prove why he was the correct choice for the Orlando Magic. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was a big ordeal during the summer about who should go first between Paolo Banchero, Chet Holmgren, and Jabari Smith. And so far, Paolo Banchero, he looks like he deserved to be the number one pick out of the three. When we came into the summer league, he dominated the summer league. And then when we saw him in the preseason, he played great in the preseason. And then in his first ever NBA game, he put himself in some very elite company. He joined LeBron James and Grant Hill as the only rookies in NBA history on their debuts to put up 25 plus points, 5 plus rebounds, and 5 plus assists. And Paolo Banchero, his exact stat line was 27 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists, and he also shot 60% from the field. So a great night for Paolo Banchero. And also another stat that I saw was this was the most points in a rookie debut since Allen Iverson. So whenever you can put your name in the same company as Allen Iverson, LeBron James, and Grant Hill, you are destined for greatness. And that's exactly what I see with Paolo Banchero. I feel like he can be one of the next biggest stars in the NBA, and the Orlando Magic, they have themselves a very bright future. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at all the aspects of Paolo Banchero's game that make him so special, and we're going to start on what he can do on the low block in the post. Now, for me personally, whenever I watch Paolo Banchero, whether it was in college, during the summer league, the preseason, and in his first NBA game, I feel like the best part of his skill set is what he can do down on the low block in the post. And Paolo Banchero, he might be a rookie, but he is not a little boy. He stands at 6'10", and he's a lean 250 pounds. So that is a lot to deal with down there on that low block. And when it comes to his skill set in the post, he can literally do everything. He has tremendous footwork, so he can do every post move in the book: the drop step, the post spin, the up and under. He's a great finisher around the rim. He can finish with both hands. He can knock down the post hook. He can finish with brute strength, and then he also has just the perfect blend of a soft touch and finesse down there. And then he can also shoot that post fade. So when it comes to Paolo Banchero and what he can do in the post, I feel like there's no weaknesses in his game, and you can't even double team him because he is an elite passer out of that post. So I feel like that's the best part of Paolo Banchero's game. And then another thing that makes him so special is what he can do with the basketball in his hands out on the perimeter. Now, this right here is exactly what makes Paolo Banchero so special. We just talked about how dominant he is on the low block, and now we're about to talk about how he can effectively play with the basketball in his hands out on the perimeter. And when I looked around NBA history, it's not one player that you can compare him to. You got to compare him to a bunch of different NBA players. That's just how gifted he is on the offensive side of the ball. Now, Paolo Banchero, he has the ability at his size, 6'10", 250 pounds. He can bring the basketball up, and he can run the offense. He can create shots for himself, and he can create shots for his teammates. Now, Paolo Banchero, he has a very tight handle on the basketball. He can string together dribble moves to get himself open. He can score from all three levels. He has shown the ability to knock down that three-point shot off the side step or off the step back. He can also get to the mid-range, stop and pop for the jump shot. And you guys know how lethal that is in basketball when you have a guy that can just rock you to sleep and then pull up for that mid-range jumper, open up so many different moves. And then he can also get downhill and get to the lane. So Paolo Banchero, when you have a guy with his size, and he can dominate down on the low block, and then he can also play from the perimeter with the basketball in his hands. You guys know what that means. He's gonna create so many mismatch problems, because let's just say if a team wants to start off with a big on Paolo Banchero, it's not too many bigs in the NBA that can stay in front of him out on the perimeter. He's just too shifty, and he's very explosive when he's getting into his gather for a layup. So it's going to be very difficult for those opposing bigs out there. And then also, if they try to sag off of him, he has a lethal mid-range pull-up. So that's something to think about. And then also, if you want to put a smaller, quicker guy on Paolo Banchero, now he can just take him down to that low block, and that's barbecue chicken. So when you have a guy that's going to open up so many mismatches like that, it's going to force teams to double team. And when you have a guy like Paolo Banchero, he's a very gifted passer. When he's getting double teamed, he's going to be able to find that wide open 3-point shooter or that wide open cutter. We done seen it so many times throughout the summer league, the preseason, and we saw it a couple of times in his rookie debut. So I think what he can do with the basketball in his hands on the perimeter and the low post player that he is truly special. So we talked about how great he is with the basketball in his hands, and he's also pretty effective without the basketball in his hands. Now, I think this aspect of Paolo Banchero's game is very important, especially with the team that he plays on, the Orlando Magic, because the Magic have other guys on the squad that can play with the basketball in their hands. Guys like Cole Anthony, Franz Wagner, and Markelle Fultz. All three of those guys can play with the basketball in their hands. So it'll be a big plus if Paolo Banchero, if he can be effective without the basketball, and he definitely can. Now, in the summer league and in the preseason, he has shown the ability to knock down a wide open catch and shoot 3-point shot. And then also, I think an underrated part of his game is how good he is moving without the basketball. He is a fantastic cutter. I've seen him get so many easy buckets just by moving and cutting to the rim, and he's a great finisher around the basket. So anytime he catches that ball around the rim, it's a guaranteed finish. But my favorite part of his off-ball game is what he can do in the two-man game as the roll man. And I would love to see throughout the season with the Orlando Magic, I can't wait to see this pick and roll with either Cole Anthony and Banchero or Franz Wagner and Banchero, because I feel like all three of these guys attract so much attention, and it's going to be hard for teams to stop, especially the one between Cole Anthony and Paolo Banchero, because both of those guys are such gifted scorers. As soon as he come across that screen, or as soon as he uses it, he is a threat to score the basketball. And when you have a guy like Paolo Banchero who's rolling, it's like it's a pick your poison situation. And Banchero, he's not just good at rolling and finishing at the rim, but we got to remember, all the stuff we talked about in this video, what he can do with the basketball in his hands. He's going to be great catching that ball on the short roll. And when he gets it on the short roll, there's so many different things he can do with it. He can just catch it and pull up for that jump shot. He can put the ball on the floor, make a move, and get to the rim. Or he's such a great playmaker that he could set up his teammates by making the right read to the wide open 3-point shooter or the wide open cutter. And it all just depends on how teams decide to defend it. But with Cole Anthony and Paolo Banchero, I think it's going to unlock so many things for the Orlando Magic offense. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Paolo Banchero, he had a great rookie debut, and the future looks very bright for him and the Orlando Magic. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment down below if you agree or disagree, and then subscribe for more weekly content. We do this all the time, man, and that's curtains.